Chapter 12, Dessert and Midnight Snacking.
Gloria broke the silence in the house by moving into the kitchen and asking who wanted dessert. She then asked Brandon to share what types of pies he had brought. Brandon explained that his coworker was an excellent baker and had made sweet potato and apple pies. Excited about the desserts, Gloria retrieved the French vanilla ice cream that Harold had bought from the freezer. She sliced up the pies and served them a la mode. Harold entered the kitchen and requested both the sweet potato and apple pies with some ice cream. He grabbed a fork from the drawer and went into the living room. Brandon selected his pie and ice cream and stood between the living room and dining room. Meanwhile, Zuri went to the office to make sure her husband and son knew that dessert was being served. Thado was engrossed in his electronic device when Tommy asked him which type of pie he wanted. Thado requested apple pie with lots of ice cream. After giving Thado his dessert in the office, Tommy and Zuri joined the other adults in the living room and dining room, which were connected. Harold is discussing life under an autocracy. He gives the example of tornadoes and hurricanes leaving areas devastated, where the king of the United States determines whether or not to help, based on personal likes or monetary contributions from the affected state. This scenario seems ridiculous, but was possible. During a lull in the conversation, Tommy informs the family that Thado wants to be treated as a young man instead of a little boy. Thado has also expressed that he wants his own cell phone to hang out with his friends after school and a couple of new games. Brandon, shocked, looks at his sister and asks why he doesn't have a phone yet. Zuri responds that it's their decision when to get him a phone and points out the irony of Brandon discussing buying a phone when he can't afford to pay rent due to wasting money on fancy clothes and eating out all the time. The siblings jokingly go back and forth for a moment until Gloria tells both of them to relax. Harold has Alexis play his jazz and R&B playlist as background music for their conversations. Their discussions cover a variety of topics, starting with inflation. They note how the media pits the middle class against each other, while the wealthy make huge profits, and consider how these profits could potentially alleviate some of the high costs of products. The conversation then shifts to the decline in morality and the pros and cons of AI in today's society. Tommy, still focusing on one of his favorite genres of music, brings up rap groups that his mother-in-law might like. She admits that she enjoys some old-school rappers like Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, and Kid and Play. Meanwhile, Zuri walks over to the office and tells Thado that they will be leaving in about 5 minutes, to which he responds with a nod. She moves through the living room and dining room, collecting the empty dessert dishes and placing them in the kitchen sink. Zuri hollers to her mom that she is making a to-go plate for later, which is, of course, fine. Once Zuri finishes, she hugs her parents and her brother, calling him Big Head. She instructs Thado to say goodbye as well. As she, Tommy, and Thado prepare to leave, she checks to see who Thado wants to drive home with, and he chooses his dad. Placing the food in the passenger seat of her Kia, Zuri looks back and waves goodbye to her parents, who are crowded at the front door. She gets into her car and waits for her husband to back out of the driveway first, since he is parked behind her. During the short drive home, Zuri's thoughts drift to Thado growing up. She worries about him having a cell phone and the access it provides to friends or things on the internet that she may not approve of. As a teacher, she has seen firsthand how kids with easy access to information and people can have their behavior influenced in concerning ways. The rapid spread of trends, misinformation, and potentially harmful content has always been a significant concern for her, both as a parent and an educator. Lost in these thoughts, Zuri is startled by a knock on her car window. It's Thado, breaking her out of her reverie. She hadn't even realized she was parked in front of their townhouse. Smiling at her son, she takes a deep breath and reminds herself to take these challenges one step at a time. Tommy walks over and opens the car door for his wife Zuri, and they enter the house together. Their son, Thado, runs upstairs to his room to get ready for bed. Once Thado is out of earshot, Tommy and Zuri quietly discuss their son. Tommy shares more about the conversation he had with Thado, revealing that Thado has a crush on a girl who, unfortunately, seems more interested in a basketball player. Zuri immediately reacts, asking who this Jezebel is that's breaking her baby's heart, despite feeling Thado is too young to focus on girls. Tommy smiles and points out that Zuri's reaction is part of the problem. Zuri passionately defends her son's qualities. He's smart, athletic, and handsome, insisting he shouldn't be focused on girls yet. However, she is incredulous that any girl wouldn't like him or would choose someone else over him. After calming down, Zuri lets Tommy continue. He talks about giving Thado more freedom to make his own decisions. They review the pros and cons of getting Thado a cell phone and agree that he will have one with certain limits. Additionally, they decide that Thado will sometimes be allowed to stay after school for authorized activities. Meanwhile, back at the Butlers, Brandon heats up another plate of food in the microwave. His parents dance around while cleaning the dishes, listening to They'll Never Be by DeBarge. Harold showcases his vocal talents by singing the chorus while sweeping, using the broom as a microphone. His wife joins in, slightly off-key, which elicits a disappointing look from him. Undeterred, she ignores his reaction and sings even louder. After the song concludes, Brandon asks what song it was. Shocked by the question, Harold and Gloria realize it was before his time. Harold explains that it was from an era when music was truly music, not the synthesized sounds of today. He proudly mentions that he knows his music well, having played several instruments. Harold turns off the music and heads up to bed. Gloria finishes cleaning the counters and island, then sits down at the table in the kitchen nook with her son. She strategically tries to find out how he is really doing, from his job to managing his money to any relationships. Previous conversations with her son had enlightened Gloria to the fact that Brandon was easily influenced by his college buddies. They wore expensive designer clothes, which was not a characteristic of the Butler family. After graduation, Brandon's college friends moved into high-end fancy apartments. Again, not a trait that the Butlers had impressed upon him. She was disappointed by how easily he seemed to forget the family values they had instilled in him. Brandon assures her that he is managing fine, which she interprets as him not needing his mom to monitor his life. She ends her unfruitful investigation with a statement of waste not, want not. Gloria tells Brandon to clean up after he finishes eating and to make sure to lock up when he leaves. She gives him a side hug and goes upstairs. 2 hours later, Harold sneaks downstairs and heads to the refrigerator for a snack. After retrieving a pie, he places it on the kitchen island and notices his son Brandon sleeping in the kitchen nook. Harold quietly cuts a slice of pie and walks over to the nook, trying not to make noise. As he eats, the clinking of his fork and spoon doesn't disturb Brandon, who remains asleep. When Harold finishes his dessert, he gently tugs at his son. Brandon slowly wakes up and wipes the saliva from the corner of his mouth. Seeing his father's questioning look, Brandon quickly offers an excuse, saying he accidentally fell asleep. However, his father's skeptical expression shows he isn't convinced. After a moment of quiet deliberation, Brandon softly confesses that he has been evicted from his apartment for not paying rent. Not completely surprised, Harold tells him to go upstairs to his old room and promises they will discuss it later.
Do you think Zuri's concerns over getting Thado a cell phone are valid? Why or why not? As always, I would love to hear your comments below. Please don't forget to like and share the video. Be sure to hit the notification button to be notified of the next video. Thank you.